Hello. You're listening to Inches and Cubes, your Toronto-based Warhammer 40k podcast. We're coming at you from Adam's Nerd Room on a wonderful Tuesday night, and today we're going to be talking about a very special codex, the Drew Carey Codex. So sit back, hold on to your butts, and enjoy this musical break.
I like how Nick got poached by NPR real quick.
And we're back. We've got two of our favorite hosts here today, and me, Point and Click Nick.
It's me, Paul Mr. Fist Fowler.
And it's me, Adam, the truest axe.
We've really upped our production values for this episode, and we've really just lowered our voices by 3 octaves.
It
just
sounds
for
like
you.
It sounds like we've just been taken to Fimzapam, and we're all about to melt into the floor.
Well, that's also going to happen.
Well, yeah.
But we can pick this back up to our regular speed.
Hello.
We are talking about the Drew Carey Codex.
Drukari. There's a lot of words in this that, ancient Greek, basically. Brush up on your old Greek. But before we get into pronunciation guides, we're gonna start things off with a fan favorite, the Dead Elephant. Indian Pale Ale, named in deference to an elephant that P.T. Barnum, enemy of the podcast, killed. So it's an IPA, it's tasty, it makes your mouth pucker up.
Thank you.
Where's it from?
St. Thomas.
Yep.
They make Railway City. They make some good beer.
Yeah.
They've got a great stout, the Black Coal Stout. I think you'd really like it.
Have we done that one here?
I think we have before. I drink it a lot. Every time I see it in the liquor store, I'm like, "Yep, you're coming home with me tonight."
Oh.
Anyways, we're cracking this one open in memory of Jumbo, the elephant that P.T. Barnum killed.
On purpose, by the way.
Yeah, because he's a monster.
It wasn't an accident. He didn't accidentally get hit by a train traveling at full speed. Because guess what? Elephants are pretty big.
Also, they don't generally live near train tracks, so...
Or in Canada.
Yeah, you're getting all the reasons why that was a crazy thing that happened. Yep. Ooh, that's...
I've always liked this one.
Yeah.
They make good stuff.
This is a good summer beer. This is a good plate of nachos beer. Something like...
Definitely eat something with this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe that's just because all I had to eat today is ramen. So, Paul's going to get drunk on this one.
Oh, you don't have to drive, so that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the last week I can drive you.
That's okay. The weather's getting nice, and I got the bike old money out of Hawk.
Nice. I'm going to go get my bike fixed up this weekend. That's my plan.
Someone stole both wheels off my bike. I'm upset about it.
Still?
Still.
I'll be over it 2 years later.
2 years.
Wasn't
That's
it?
before the winter.
Yeah.
Oh, that one? I thought I've seen the frame here for over a year.
Yeah, it had wheels last time we saw it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways.
I mean, not last week, but...
Time is a circle.
Dude, I've donated 4 bikes to this city's black market. So,
Did you show me the security camera footage
yeah.
of you coming down a minute after your bike was stolen and being like, "Where's my bike?"
Yeah, there's... So, when I lived at Spadina and Bloor, I, came down to go to work, and my bike was stolen. So I went to the security guys, and I was like, "Hey, can we look at that footage?" And you can see a guy, 15 minutes before I come down, steal the bike, and then I come down, and it's just with my helmet on, and I just put my hands on my head, and I'm like, "What the f-" You can just see me looking around frantically.
The rage, yeah.
Yeah, just, turning red and getting heavier. I don't know. What's a ragey man do? Getting denser?
Steam comes out of your ears?
Yep.
Well, we're not here to talk about the plight and plague of stolen bikes in Toronto, because it's a very Toronto thing, by the way.
It is. You're not from Toronto, and you don't live in Toronto until someone stole your damn bike.
This is what we're doing today. We are doing Drew Carey Codex. Already said that.
Yep.
I got distracted because Connor's messaging me on another media, because this question apparently is getting blocked by the mod bots on Twitch.
He needs to stop swearing and posting links.
Yeah.
So, hobby progress.
Hobby progress? I'll go first because it's the same old story. I'm working on that commission, and I've got Dorn's gold finished, his face, and so the only thing left to do on that commission is the base. The client wants a Alpha Legion legionary on the base as per the fluff, so I got to figure out how to paint that. I've never painted Alpha Legion, and the way that I would want to do it is the airbrush method. And I don't own an airbrush, so I need to figure out a way to do that. I'm thinking like go bright silver and then blue and green glazes. But again, just using that scale 75 metallic set, it's the best. You know,
Nice.
it's not just because I got it from the warpainter.com. It's just like a really good product.
Nice.
Like
Covers well.
it's painting metallics with a brush sometimes like can be a bit of a pain in the butt.
Just with the pigments and
Yeah, so if you don't shake it enough, you give it one shake, it covers well, it looks really good. So yeah, I can't say enough good about that, but it's the same old story. So anyways, that's my hobby progress. Plugging away at Dorn.
Awesome.
He'll be done Wednesday night. No, wait, I've got a concert Thursday night, I guess.
Cool. Adam, what are you up to?
Yeah, I kept it pretty light this week. Just had a bunch of stuff going on outside of hobbying, so just continue to plug away on a commission of my own. So 10 Sisters of Silence and the Custodes Bikers that you guys heard about and saw pictures of live on Twitch last week. Yeah, just brought the reds up, did more base coats and washes, line highlighted the bikes silver and stuff just to make them pop a little bit. And yeah, it was good. It was good. I just... The first set of 10 I did for this guy, I didn't mask off the red cloaks and stuff when I went in and airbrushed the lighter red on top, and it just like ruined my own day because of that. And so this time I tediously pulled out the silly putty because that is the best stuff for masking things off, because it just falls off the model when you want it to, instead of pulling the paint off along with. And yeah, I just like covered all the girls in silly putty, and it was a dream to get those red highlights on this time. So yeah, that was mine. And then so the big update for the channel is worked on those buildings a little bit more, which was really fun. Just took a bunch of the city panels and started gluing them onto the foam core boxes that I made, and yeah, they're really starting to come to life. So getting excited about that, and trying to figure out how to spread out the plastic pieces by using foam core bits. And Nick just discovered it, picked it up. There's at the dollar store you can get these garage sale signs, and on the back it has this really cool texture. It looks like metal grating and stuff.
That's so cool.
You can't see that, but it's real good.
Yeah.
Well, they're listening to a podcast right now, so no, they can't see it.
You're right. So I'm right.
You were trying to show it to them on the camera.
They didn't know that.
Yeah, no. Why you gotta out me, dude?
It's fun.
So yeah, we did. It's the same stuff we used on our Shadow War terrain set for the club, to kind of expand. Again, the same idea, right? Use a bunch of foam core and get more out of the plastic pieces. So, what are you pointing at?
You getting a Warhound Titan for that
Oh, for the Sky Shield landing.
Sky Shield landing pad over there, Adam?
For anyone who doesn't look at the internet, you might have seen at Adepticon there was a 30k player who played a ridiculous list that involves Warhound Titan and a Sky Shield landing pad and a bunch of mortars.
That's not a list.
And 2 voice shield generators.
That's not
right,
a list.
Right,
That's,
2 voice shield generators. What's that?
like, that's not a list. I don't care. You can call it a lot of stuff, but it's a noisome collection of bullshit.
So the interesting thing to think about, and I didn't know this, was that they took those things out of the new Horus Heresy rulebook, those fortifications.
Yeah.
Which makes it extra... That, I mean, to me, in my mind, that puts some of the fault on the list checkers.
The TO allowed them for this event.
Yeah.
Specifically?
Yeah.
So, like it said in the player pack, like, these are
Yep.
allowed. Well, that'll never happen again.
Yep.
No, it didn't even... It was asked on the Facebook event, like,
It
can I
was.
do this? So, well, I don't think that anyone thought that it was going to come with a Warhound Titan.
No.
Like, that's...
No.
Anyways. The idea...
The good news is, it makes the hobby better because now we know how to fix dumb stuff like that.
Yes. You
So-
stand on the gaming table with a 9-iron, and you
That's why I had no arms. Somebody batted them off the first game.
Oh,
I would hope so.
I would lose my mind.
So yeah, I think that's it.
Cool.
Yeah. Nick, what do you got, man?
Did another hobby night last night. James and Connor came over, and we ate some baked goods and some snacks and drank some beers. And we were, I think Connor stayed over till like 11:30, so we were up late last night getting stuff done. I finished off the Death Watch bases, sprayed them down put a final highlight on them, sprayed them down with a gloss coat. A really heavy gloss coat, though, and they're really shiny and really sticky looking.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going with. So they just need a matte black finish on the rims, and they'll be good to go. And then I did a dry brush of really, really dark gray Skaven Blight Dinge. For any of you GW paint fanatics, it's almost black gray. And I'd like to do that for my black armor. It just gives it a little bit of depth, so when I go in there and start highlighting it with a brighter gray, it's got a couple tones to it. Did that for all the Death Watch guys, the Dreadnought, all the Assault Marines, Vanguard veterans, I guess, and all the Bikers and the Dreadnought. Did I say Dreadnought?
Yeah, you said Dreadnought.
Watchmaster, that's the one. And then I started doing metallics, and because I want, obviously, this stuff to match my old Death Watch, I'm just doing my bright silver with the Dollarama Sharpies,
Hey,
and the gold with the gold Sharpies from Dollarama, and it just goes so quick. You're just like zip zip zip, done.
Man, those Sharpies, like,
Yeah.
I want them to not work, you know? Like, there's a part of me where it's like, this is cheating, but then the other part sees it, and I'm like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And there's also something else that, speaking of cheating, that I really, really want to do. You can buy a watercolor brush, which is like an empty syringe with like a tip that's kind of like a paintbrush, but you can fill the syringe with, I guess it's a vial, with whatever you want, and as you squeeze it and brush on, it'll come out the brush, and people online are like, you put your washes in that, and you can get it right into the cracks, and you don't have to paint it on.
Nice.
So that's my next thing. I'm going to go to above ground and grab that, because that's going to be awesome.
How much are those?
I don't know.
Get 2.
I'll get a couple, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. You'd love that for your Imperial Fist.
I would. That would
Yeah.
save me a lot of...
So you don't have to go back and like fix all the stains you make on your yellow.
Yeah. You can be a little bit more precise with the highlighting. Not the highlighting, the opposite of the highlighting. I am not thinking straight today.
low lights.
Low lights, sure.
Shading.
What else did I do? That's it. Oh, I did a huge cleanup of my hobby desk.
Oh, yeah?
I had 2 massive boxes of sprues, kind of like what Adam's got here, but of just like...
Point your head at the mic.
Okay, sorry. Of Space Marine bits, Orc bits, we're talking like Mark IV, Death Watch, Tartarus Pattern Terminators, Burner Boys, Shooter Boys, everything. And I was like, that's taking up too much space. So Sunday afternoon, a little bit hungover, just sat down on the floor, big glass of Gatorade, and just started clipping. And sorted them all out into like my tray organizer based on like, chess pieces, arms, and that took about 2 hours, and then cleaned everything else up and threw out the sprues.
There's some stuff that I want to leave on sprues, though. Like, for some reason. Like, shoulder pads and stuff, fine, that can just go in. But, like, I find that the sprue is the organizing thing for me.
But I have a tray. You've seen mine.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
a tray organizer. It's the exact same thing, but you can fit, like, so much more in the tray.
Yeah. It's just that, like, in my head, the sheet of sprue is how it's organized. So I'm like, I know where that is. It's on this sprue. So, I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it is an alien system to me, and it terrifies me.
Oh, yeah, because we're used to it. I agree with you. But this is just for pure space saving. Because I have a partner who's going to be moving in, and I need to make space for her. My apartment's not very big, so...
Nick likes a girl.
It's true, I do. Oh yeah, so other Nick saw Julie on the bus, and he was like, I didn't want to go over and like say hi to her because I didn't know if she'd know me. I'm like, you just gotta go up to her and be like, you're Julie that Nick talks about on the podcast.
Which one, Wilkins?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Nope.
He's famous.
My roommate today, as I was leaving, he's like, does anyone know you from the podcast? I was like, I don't know, but maybe. And
Yeah,
then
who
that-
knows?
At least one guy in Pickering.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it like weirded me out for a second, where I was like, "Oh God!" Like people I don't know hear my voice, my dumb opinions on shit. Oh no, my dumb, easily swayed opinions.
I love it.
Yep.
That's
Your
my
opinion.
hobby. That's my hobby progress and my opinion. Adam, what games did you play? Because Paul didn't play. I know that.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I played so many games. I played 3 games.
Hand me that black licorice. I'm gonna get some snacks in while you guys go on.
Yeah, so I went to the 30K event in Kitchener Waterloo this past weekend, and it was fun. It was fun to have all those boys come crash our 30K event, and then go see them and all their buddies down in the good old Forbes Hobbies area. And yeah, so game 1. Let's see. Think. I should have written it down.
Mm-hmm.
I know you played Iron Warriors at some point.
That was game 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Adam is my opponent's name, and he plays Iron Warriors.
It's also your name.
I know, it's crazy.
He's named like you're named.
Yeah, and we both really like painting, and we at one point we, you know, with the exception of me who just recently cut mine, both had really big beards, and he still has his. We have so much in common. Anyways, so he took his hobby goal for this event was to paint a bunch of Land Raiders, a bunch of Terminators, which he got done, and they look amazing because he is an amazing painter. And so he took this game was it was a de-escalating tournament, so to kind of simulate the attrition of war and all this kind of stuff as you're running throughout the region, your army's getting whittled down. So there were 3 games. The first one was 3,000 points, the second one was 2,500, and the third one was 2,000. Which was kind of neat. It also means at the end of a long day, you're like playing your smallest game, so it's a lot easier to manage and stuff.
I kind of like that idea, and
That's a
I think
good
I'm going
idea.
to steal it.
It, it's a great idea, but logistically, before the event starts, it's a nightmare because you're asking people to. Because they also did Centurion, so they made you submit a 3,000 point list, a 2,500 point list, and a 2,000 point list, and a Centurion list, 1,500 points.
Oh, fun.
And the person organizing it has to make sure that units that are in the 2,000 and 2,500 list are all coming from the 3,000 point list.
Sure.
So sit on that.
I mean, that's not how I would do it, but
Yeah. So that was the thing, right? So everything in your 3-point list, everything in your other list had to be in your 3,000 point list and below, right? So same thing. Your 2,000 point list had all the things had to be from your 2,500 point list. Because as you take stuff out, it's to simulate that those are the things that you're losing as the battle goes on and stuff, right? So you can't draw from them later. Anyway, so there was that's a whole thing. So the game. He took 3 Land Raiders, a whole bunch of last cannons, 3 units of Terminators, some quad mortars, and Leviathan drop potting down. Probably some other stuff that I can't remember. A unit of Vets that came in with his Praetor, and yeah. So the game was interesting. I took my kind of typical list that I took to our previous event, which is the drop potting Leviathan, 2 units of Vets with missiles. What else do I have in there? 2 quad mortars, a single speeder, my Praetor Tribune with just Iron Terminators and a Spartan, and a plasma support squad. I think that's my 2,500 point list from the previous event you would have heard about, and so I added in 2 Contemptors and an Apothecary to make it 3,000. So it was pretty tough. I was a little bit worried if you got some lucky last cannon hits early. That was my big worry because there was a whole that's what he had. He had a Bastion with 7 or 8 last cannons.
Iron Havocs too, eh?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So all with what is it, Sunder or something like that, or
Tank Hunter and -1 to your cover saves and Ballistic Skill 5. Oh, so good.
Yeah. So that was super scary. So I dropped down the Leviathan right in front of that and just ruined his day with the Phosphex launchers because he put the unit on top so I could shoot the whole unit as opposed to hiding it inside.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you put them on top, you can shoot all the guns there.
Yeah.
If you put them inside, you can only shoot like 4 or something. 4, I don't know, half the unit of guns or whatever.
Oof.
So just blew that squad off the table turn 1 and just advanced up with all my stuff as fast as I could. Because the mission was to kill units. So
Okay.
yeah, and we happened to get hammer and anvil too, so we're going lengthwise. So I was like, I gotta get towards this fire base. And luckily there was enough buildings to just hide my contemptors behind. And managed to... I did a flank shift, so I basically left my Leviathan to handle one entire flank, and flank shifted my entire army to the other side to pull the Land Raiders away from the Leviathan and pull the Terminators away from the Leviathan, which then in turn allowed him to run through a Terminator squad and a Land Raider on top of already having wiped out those 10, or however many it was, last cannons. And then, yeah, just enough stuff came on the side that slowly, turn after turn, I was at least picking off a whole unit of Terminators or picking off a whole Land Raider, which was nice. So, victory for that game. Second game...
Before you do that, Adam.
Oh!
Because we got
some
sit through
stuff.
2 more games.
Yeah.
Love listening to them. Just saying. Just want to have something to sip on while that happens.
Yeah, dude. And we're all running on empty.
So this is a Waterloo IPA. So since its first appearance... Oh, wait, no, this is talking about their boar. Don't worry about it. It just says, pour the boar. Which kind of rhymes.
It's a soft rhyme.
It's a soft rhyme. But Canada's first... Ontario's first craft brewer. And we've got a lot of IPAs, guys.
Oh, yeah, no.
So, don't complain about the hops.
That's the theme of the day. We should have brought some fries or done something.
Yeah,
along that
nachos,
line.
man. Nachos. What we got?
I got a bag of corn chips
I got black licorice.
in arm's reach.
Corn chips will do it.
Sorry to interrupt, Adam.
No, it's all good. So my second game was against Word Bearers, and so I already told you my 2,500 point list. So I took out the 2 contenders, took out the apothecary, and this was against Ollie, super cool dude. Hangs out on Discord. I know you don't know what that is.
What is Discord?
Oh, he's got Argyle Tall as
Yes.
his Praetor, right? Which
Yeah.
is super cool, super fluffy.
Yeah. So he had a command squad of jet bikes. Argyle Tall is just a Praetor on a jet bike because there's no rules for him. He had a Marigal. He had a squadron of 3 Predators with those crazy plasma cannon guns.
Oh, the Plasma Exterminator is nice.
Yeah, a big unit of 20 tactical marines, a Deredeo,
You take the las cannons or the auto cannons?
last cannons and missiles.
Nice.
Wild.
I'm probably missing some stuff. But
Spartan?
Yep. Definitely.
Galvorback?
Definitely had a Spartan full of Galvorback, yeah. Totally. It was like a crazy amount of Galvorback.
How do you forget that?
Those are the scariest units in 30K.
So so this game was interesting. I dropped the Leviathan in the drop pod down, and he chose to intercept. I think he did, and just didn't. He blew the pod up, which was he was happy about that. But then just totally flopped. He dedicated a bunch of shooting straight onto the Leviathan after, and totally flopped it.
Why wouldn't you shoot the Leviathan first?
Because he wanted to charge with the Galvor back, so he wanted to make sure he got the pod, and so he dumped his Galvor back out, and because the pod was there, he was charging through terrain, and I was like, all right, basically anything with double ones, and like as it was halfway out of my mouth, he drops double ones, and then the Galvor back, because of that, they spent the whole game chasing after this Leviathan and failing charges the whole time.
Oh man,
That sucks.
Yeah. So it ended up being a lot closer than originally thought. So the mission was it was capturing objectives, and it was Dominion. So you capture the point at the start of your turn, which is always very interesting because you leave yourself potentially in vulnerable positions, or you kind of like go for these objectives thinking you have to get them, but then you have to wait a turn.
Yeah.
Right. So you never know what's going to happen.
favorite mission.
And
Especially... Oh, yeah, go on. Sorry.
yeah, so they also tweaked a rule, which is a testament to reading the player pack, which I actually did. I just forgot that this was a rule because it's not actually a rule. But they made it so that you can be in your dedicated transport and still cap stuff.
Oh, I hate that rule.
Yeah.
No.
That's stupid.
So what I did was I deployed outside of all my objectives so I could cap them turn 1 and then go. And so turn 1 I also drove up a Rhino, dumped out a veteran squad, and then they just got blown up.
Yeah.
I put them in a crater, so I like jumped in the crater going for the cover save and did the go to ground for +2 to my cover and all that kind of stuff, but they just got annihilated by those plasma predators. So anyways, because of this horrible blunder on the side of the Galvor back, and the fact that he only had 2 scoring units, I took out his Assault Marine squad turn 1, so he was only generating 1 point per turn, and I was consistently generating 2 or more per turn. He just couldn't keep up in points, and all I had left at the end of the game was my Whirlwind Scorpius and 2 gunners.
Nice.
From the quad mortars. So he almost tabled me. He wrote to roll the dice to see if the game would go on turn 5 and dropped a 2. And it was okay, that's it. It had like double his victory points, so that's how it goes sometimes. And then the final game. I promise this is the end of it.
No, I'm wrapped.
You love this?
Yeah.
This is Nick's wheelhouse. So my final game was the 2,000 point game against Death Guard Mechanicum.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took out the Justarian and put the Plasma guys in the Spartan. I forget what else I took out. Doesn't matter. It was a pared down version of the same list. Here we go. And he had a unit of tactical squad, Death Guard Marines and a Rhino, a veteran squad and a Rhino, and then he had, what are the big Mechanicum guys called?
The Thanatars.
Thanatar, and he had a small squad of 4 of the Thalax or whatever with the lightning guns, and then he had the close combat, like Magos or whatever, running around trying to touch me.
Touch.
And a Spartan full of the Terminator Death Shroud Terminators?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they're called? Yeah.
That's what they're called.
The close combat
The
ones, not the
sides?
ones with... Oh, yeah, Death Shrouds.
Yeah. With the special character, Typhon? Typhus?
Typhon.
Typhon?
Yeah, he's not Typhus
Same dude.
yet.
Yeah.
Different name.
There you go.
Yeah.
You tell that the prince.
So this one, the mission was get units in the other person's deployment zone. So the scoring units are worth 2 points, and non-scoring units are worth 1 point. So I dropped down, as per usual, the Leviathan and the drop pod right in front of his Spartan, and try and get some lucky Melta shots, even though he had Armored Ceramite. He popped my Spartan on turn 1. Obviously, I didn't get his.
With what?
With just the lucky last cannon hit. Just managed to get the 6, and there you go.
Do you have flare shields on your Spartan?
What did he get it with? Oh, but I turned it to shoot something.
You got your side.
And so then he came around the side and got a sneaky 6 off on me. And I jumped out of the drop pod hoping to get his right after that. And did like a wound with my impact hit, did a wound with my guns on the way in, and then totally flopped in close combat. And so I was like, well, shoot, you got my Spartan, and I didn't get yours. This is going to be bad. Except he just didn't push my deployment zone at all, and I just managed to stay in his and keep him pushed back or distracted, and just managed to get that one.
So you didn't play any Centurion?
No, I didn't play any Centurion.
Yeah, I'd like to try it.
Yeah, it was the Centurions one they were doing. They were teaming people up and having 4 people play on one table.
Yeah.
I think it was a 6x4 or an 8x4. Yeah, it to me I was like, it would have been fun, but I was also like, I came with 3,000 points and drove for an hour, so I'll do it if you want me to, but I'm also here to throw down on a big table. And,
Yeah.
So, and I was pretty stoked because I was getting pretty down about 30K, and now having basically 6 wins in a row, I feel a lot better.
Oh, well, I mean, that'll do it for anybody.
Yeah, totally. Like, not that you need wins to feel good about a game, but it certainly helps for sure. So, yeah, those are my games right there.
Well, we'll have to rematch in 30K sometime soon.
Yeah, he wants to make me hate 30K again.
Yeah. I want to
He has fun with those kinds of games, like complete blowouts.
not have fun
There's
with that game
glee
again.
in his face.
Oh my god, Paul.
That
was over a month ago. Get over it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about your personality flaws, not one specific game. Nick, did you play any games?
I did.
Why don't you tell us about that?
I went. We had an open day on Saturday at the Sword and Board behind Pizza Pizza there on Brock and Bloor.
We need to record a new Hogtown ad.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So it was a good turnout. We had 7 tables going, and Battlefleet Gothic game as well. And then I think somebody was just playing on like a folding table, just a game.
Cool.
2 people were playing 40k on a folding table, not even a 6x4. And there was,
From-
we're just doing like a clash.
From
It's
the
cool.
club?
Yeah, like Jesse and somebody else. I'm like, yeah, we're doing a corn clash. I'm like, oh, cool.
Alright, whatever.
Anyway.
It's your damn game.
So I played Mike Chapman's Mechanicum with my orcs. He was on paper. It's a mean list. It's 4 robots. He's got Call. He's got Rangers, Onagers, like the anti-air variant and the neutron laser variant. He's got 2 squads of heavy destroyers. That's a Necron unit. 2 squads of Cataphren destroyers. Chicken walkers. Oh man, what else did he have? I think that's it actually.
Who was this again?
Mechanicum, Admech.
Which person?
Mike Chapman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So he was running the Mars one, so he got double canicles, which is really, really good. So I had my orcs, and beforehand I looked at his list. I'm like, so normally when I play people with orcs, I'm like, you don't have enough shooting. You don't literally have enough shots.
You don't
in
have
6
enough
turns
gun
to kill 130 models. Even if I just lined up my guys and you shot them, you couldn't kill them all by the end of turn 6. Mechanicum has that. Mechanicum could do that 2 or 3 times over in the course of a game. And I went first, and it was just one of those games where everything went perfectly according to plan. And I was able to go first. I was able to drop 30 orc boys in front of him. They didn't make the charge, but they were still in range of my Big Mech's custom force field that they had a 5-up invuln save. And so he wasted everything in his army killing 30 boys, got them down to 7. That's all the robots, all the destroyers, and all the rangers. I was able to get him on both flanks with commandos, and with the wraparound pile and grab both onagers, so now the onagers couldn't fire. Grab the destroyer squad as well, and just whittled them down. His turn, he was able to infiltrate some Sikaran infiltrators. He brought Snickrot down to 1 wound in assault, and then Snickrot just killed all the infiltrators because he does 2 damage and just murdered them. And then the big thing was he went to go shoot his destroyers at the battle wagon, and they're like 5 shots each, strength 6, AP -3, grav cannons. So if you have a 3-up save or more, they're D3 damage instead of 1. He does 5 wounds, and he's like, awesome. And he goes to pick up some dice to roll D3s. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, they do D3 damage against 3-up armor. I'm like, it's got a 4+. Nothing in my army has anything better than a 4 armor save.
That's really funny to me.
And he was like, oh. I'm like, yeah, your grav cannons are useless in this game. And then just kept throwing boys into the robots. Ended up killing them when I killed the robot in combat, and then he removed a robot so they were no longer in play, so the next turn they were able to shoot. But then my war buggies came in, and they've never done anything for me in games. They actually killed a chicken walker in combat.
Nice.
And then fired at the robots and inflicted 12 wounds and killed two robots. And he was just like, oh. I'm like, yeah, they do flat 3 damage and 4 hit. That's 2 robots dead.
So another blowout that you enjoyed.
Yeah. It came down to the 1 turn where the robots died. If the robots hadn't died, he would have been able to finish off the boys. And then the last thing that happened in the game before he was like, all right, we're done, was he was like, Call was making a beeline for my warlord. He was just like, all right, my gun line's broken. Call's going to run after and try to get the warlord point. And I got a super smite off with Weird Boy, and then rolled a 6 for mortal wounds and instantly killed Call.
That's the way to do it. He's kind of a beast.
He is a beast. He was terrifying. Because he gets into combat, he's got 2d6 strength 4 hits. So he rolled 12 hits on his first time in combat and just mowed down boys. I did not have a lot less. I had a battle wagon, 1 Weird Boy, Big Mech, and a couple commandos. And this is the first game I've ever gotten to use the mob up rule, the new stratagem for it. So I'm definitely going to be using it with commandos because it's not less than 10 models, it's 10 or less.
Ooh,
So I can drop the 2 commando squads at the end of my movement phase, and at the end of my movement phase, pay the 1 command point to make them 1 unit. And now I've got 20 commandos with 2 knobs and 2 burners, and charge them in.
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I hadn't even thought of.
You can do it with Stormboys too.
That feels
Yeah.
bad.
I can also do 3 squads of 10 commandos and mob them all up at the same. No, you can't. That's a lie.
Yeah, don't
Can't do
lie
that.
to us.
Only one strategy.
Yeah, but Mike's hasn't played a lot of 8th, but he's the type of guy who's like, go hard. This is how I'll learn.
Yeah.
So the next time I play him, I think he's gonna know what to do against orcs for sure. The burner bomber was hilarious. I killed like 13 Skitarii Vanguard over the course of the game, and I put it right in the middle of his lines, right in the middle of his gun line. And he goes to shoot at it, and I was like, just so you know, it blows up on a 4-up, and everything within 6 inches takes 3 mortal wounds. He's like, oh yeah, D3 mortal wounds. I'm like, no, flat 3 mortal wounds.
Wow.
So he ignored it. And the burner bomber got to do another bombing run, and then he blew it up, and it was just in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, yeah, good work.
Mm-hmm.
Good work, Kamikaze Bomber.
That's fun. I like orcs. Orcs should be good.
Yeah,
It's about
they're
time.
fun.
It's about time.
Yeah.
They deserve it. And I hope every orc player continues to win games and destroy people, and both sides have a great time because of it.
No,
Yeah.
Nick just needs blowouts.
For the record, it's not a blowout when you have like 5 models left and your opponent has like the same amount.
I know, but we need conflict for the podcast.
That's true. That's true. And it was actually it was a new chapter approved mission, which was a lot of fun. So it was score. There are 6 objectives. Score a point at the end of your turn for each objective you control, and score a kill point for every unit you kill. So it was a good bonus of like kill and grab objectives.
I love it. I love the combination of the Maelstrom and Eternal War stuff, right?
It was a lot of fun. What else? Yeah, I think that's the only real weird thing that was in that mission. But yeah, it was a good day. Good open day. And then I went to a couple of breweries in the afternoon, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Go to People's Pint if you get a chance.
People's Pint?
Yes.
Okay.
It's really good. They have a ancho cinnamon porter. That's got like a spicy peppery bite to it. It's not overpowering. It's
Okay,
nice.
but like I sometimes porters get flavored and they taste like Yankee candles.
No, this is nice.
Okay.
And you also don't like saisons, right?
I do like
Typically?
saisons.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. I couldn't remember which side of the coin you were on.
I pretty much like. I'll complain about everything, but I like everything. Like, I'm just generally a pain in the ass to be around.
That's true. Well, let me know when you wanna get blown out, and we'll have a rematch where we're not drinking.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Nick Rowitz, the first time I saw him after the birthday party, he was like, "Can we play again?" It's like I wasn't in a good state of mind in that last game we played.
Oh, you played him, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't have to deal with anybody.
Just me.
Yeah. Oh, beer hammer.
It's a lot of fun.
It'll get you.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Alright, do you guys want to take a little break?
I do.
Maybe go talk to the Twitch people?
Sure.
Yeah. Get some more beer?
We'll see you in a bit.
Battle Brothers Studios, a commission painting service passionate about making your miniatures and your gaming table look great. Our philosophy at Battle Brothers is this: your army is our army. Every model will be something you can be proud to show off. Send us a message on facebook.com/battlebrothersstudios for a free quote and make that dream project come to life. We also have something special planned for the release of 8th edition of 40K. Right now, get 20% off if you commission us to paint an 8th edition starter set, or get a 10% off Army Bundle bonus for painting up your new 8th edition 40K Army. Inquire with us on Facebook for full details.
G'day, how are you now? Tried to paint a mini the other day. Realized my brushes were drier than a Saskatoon field in May. So I did what any reasonable man in his mid-30s would do, and I hopped over to thewarpainter.com to resupply. Thewarpainter.com is Canada's greatest hobby store for all things hard to find. Scale 75, Broken Toad, The Army Painter, and Valet Ho. All supporters of Encounter Wargaming get 10% off their first order with the code EWG10. They got you covered.
And we're back. Ooh, that was...
Oh, it's all over the place.
So this just says Lunch Money by Collective Arts. There's no type of beer. It's just lunch money.
It's just...
Love it. It's probably some kind of session
Say it, Adam.
ale or something.
Say it. Make the joke.
Give me your lunch money.
Give me a...
Alright, guys, we're talking about the Drew.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, it's so pale.
Oh, it's totally a session ale.
You know who has pale skin, though? Is the Dark Eldar. Or, as they're known now to protect their IP, the Drew Khari.
The Drew Carey?
The Drew Carey. The... Oh, man. Oh.
Does it smell?
It kind of...
Does it stink pretty?
It's got a barnyardy stink to it.
Oh, yeah.
My dad's mother always used to say that. When we were kids, we'd go up and give her a big hug, and she'd be like, "Oh, you stink pretty." And we'd be like, "That is the most horrible nice thing to say ever."
I hate that.
That's a weird beer. That doesn't taste like anything.
I'm not. I'll drink it.
Does it taste like lunch money?
Yeah, it tastes like pennies.
Yeah.
Pennies, not panties.
Ooh, no.
I had to think about that for a second, because I totally thought he said panties.
I did not say panties is such a gross word.
It's a horrible word.
Love it. So anyways, the Dark Eldar. Where does a Dark Eldar come from? Well, I'm going to give you a crash course in your Eldars real quick. We know where Slaanesh came from, right? The Eldars partied too hard, and you're just laughing that I keep saying Eldars.
Wicked hangover.
Yeah, they partied too hard, and they got into such levels of excess that they birthed a god of pleasure.
Which probably included stealing kids' lunch money.
It's probably stealing kids. Way worse than just the kids' lunch money. Usually, sometimes the kids, it seems. But while this was happening, the Eldar race sort of could see what was coming down the pipe. So some left and started settling worlds. Those are known as the Exodites.
They ride dinosaurs, right?
It depends on what conversions you're looking at, but that's one of these armies that people have been fiending for a long time. You'll probably see them eventually, just with the way that things have been going at GW.
And they will be riding dinosaurs.
Okay, well, maybe. I wouldn't get your hopes up on the dinosaurs. Then other Eldar kind of assembled all their ships into what are now known as craft worlds, and they left and went to the stars hoping to kind of avoid this fate. And then the Eldar that were like the most depraved and the most intense, they went into the webway, which is their way of traveling like vast distances, and it's sort of an extra dimensional pathway around the universe. And they started building cities, and the biggest one of these is now known as Khemora. Anyways, the birth of Slaanesh happens and devastates most of the Eldar civilization, and the Eldar that are on craft worlds, they figure out a way to stop Slaanesh, this new god that's been birthed, from eating their souls when they die. So they put their souls into soul stones. What the Dark Eldar do is their souls are constantly being drained away by Slaanesh, so they're replenishing their souls, and the way they do that is through the pain and suffering that they inflict on other living beings. So that's the entire reason for this commitment to mutilation and cruelty, because that sustains their soul while Slaanesh is just constantly eating it. So it's just this continuum of pain and suffering throughout the universe, which is...
These guys take BDSM to a new level.
Oh, yeah. It's it's way more than like... Anyways, we don't need to get into anything like that. But yeah, so Khemora, or, it's a play on Gomorrah from Sodom and Gomorrah, if you want to go back to your Genesis Bible studies. But so this is an extra dimensional city, but it's not like a city like a geographical location. It's sort of a collection of interlocking dimensions in the webway. So it doesn't have a physical form that we would think of as a city, but it's kind of governed by all these cabals and cults and different groups. In the 35th millennium, we start seeing Vect. So he's like one of the big Dark Eldar characters. He used to have a model in 3rd edition. It was a big raider, but he doesn't have one now. So you'll probably see that coming down the pipe eventually once they start releasing like the big bads for every army. And this guy like coalesces power. He wants to control control Khemora. And he's what's known as a half-born. So Eldar lives take a very long time to gestate within a pregnant Eldar person. But what the Dark Eldar do is they'll use in vitro and then kind of put it in this like accelerated little chamber. And those people are looked down on and as like kind of not real Eldar, or like they have a lower station in society.
So it's like you cheated, so you don't count. You're not a real person because you weren't.
Right, or like you won't have the same advantages that like a trueborn Khari would have. But Vect, he's just a bad dude, and like the entirety of his story is just like manipulation and backstabbing, because that's what the Eldar are all about, the Dark Eldar. And so there's like a lot of fluff about like him just amassing power, but then like they throw in these really weird flavorful bits where there's like one Archon known as Vane Caius or something like that, who's like a narcissist with no equal, and he creates a plague that like alters people's genetics to look so they look like him. And he releases it on a planet because he's like, yeah, I want everyone to look like me. So then the 31st millennium happens, or the 41st millennium happens, and Vect now is running Khemora. He's the most powerful Archon.
So he succeeded in his quest.
He was doing stuff like he would raid an Imperial sort of supply line and like get 3 or 4 chapters of Space Marines angry at the Dark Eldar and then direct them into his enemies. And then there was one particularly stubborn household like in Khemora that he just couldn't crack. So one day a portal opens up in the webway, an Imperial cruiser just comes through and smashes into this household because he's like, I couldn't get them through subterfuge, I couldn't bribe them, so I crashed a spaceship into their home, and now they're all dead. So it's just like, okay, so apparently there is like a lot of levels of escalation that Vect is willing to go through, and like, he doesn't want to damage property, he doesn't want to like ruin the value of these like households, because they're pirates, but they still have like an aristocracy about them. They're kind of vampire-y in that way.
It seems like this is like the ultimate way of killing the ultimate weapon in all science fiction universes. Like
spaceship.
Yeah, just throw a spaceship at it if it's not working.
I've always wondered that, and it's like, if you have anything that can do faster than light travel, why hasn't that been weaponized? We've talked about this on the podcast before, but you literally just need to throw one ship at hyperspeed into a Borg cube, and it's gone.
That thing's messed.
Yeah. So like the newest Star Wars movie, or not the newest, was it? Yeah, the newest Star Wars movie.
Have you seen it yet?
Even
Still haven't seen it.
The Fall of Cadia.
Yeah.
Right. They pushed a dead ship into the Blackstone Fortress that was assaulting them. Like, it's
just build stuff that big.
It's
and make that a weapon.
Just go to an asteroid field and like push these asteroids around and then like throw them at people.
Yeah. So that's sort of what the Dark Eldar are, right? Like they're backstabby, they're addicted to pain, they just love torture. And then the 41st millennium rolls around, they do all this stuff with Vect. then the Great Rift happens, and Cremora is now flooded with demons, just because of like an unstable gateway. So like that's a big chaotic happening, and Vect is assassinated. So mandrakes show up. They're the shadow-walking assassins of the Dark Eldar, and he's just cut to ribbons, and they destroy all the genetic material that would have, like, it's not quite cloning. So the Dark Eldar have a way of rebuilding a body after you die, and then having your soul kind of re-inhabit that body. So that's like where the homunculus come into. They're like kind of flesh wizardy dudes. So they destroy all the genetic material that Vect had for this eventuality. So the entire population of Cremora is like thrown into disarray, and there's power struggles. And the Harlequins show up, and they're like, "We're gonna have a memorial for Vect. Like, this is a big deal." Like, so they kind of stage this, and all the most powerful households are invited. And just as everything's like wrapping up, Vect shows up and just kills tons of people that betrayed him.
Oh, shoot.
And like, but he doesn't kill any of the mandrakes because he's like, whatever, that's just what they do. Like, he's like, listen, you don't get mad at the wind for blowing. Like, that's what these things do. I'm not going to deal with that. And then there's like, they do a good job of like kind of having his reaction to Ivrain and the what's the god that got born? Aeneid?
Yeah, Aeneid, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. Like, he's like, I should be the most powerful person. You're siphoning off my resources. You're a false prophet. He doesn't believe in Ivrain. But Lilith Hesperax does. Aeneid, sorry.
Yeah. I've met your brain, just a real person.
No, well, he like doesn't believe in the cause.
I know.
Because there's like no arguing with stuff that cuts tanks in half. But, you know, there's like, so there's always this like power struggle in the Dark Eldar society, and you know, you can go into this stuff. They've done a really good job of kind of filling out the backstory, and maybe this is just because this is the first Dark Eldar Codex I've read in maybe 5-6 years, but it just felt really fleshed out and didn't feel like they were just bad Eldar. It felt like they had a society, and it sort of worked. It's a little messed up, and there's a lot of backstabbing, but it's you know, it would make a decent Game of Thrones type miniseries.
Yeah.
There's two pieces of fluff that have always stuck out to me for the Dark Eldar. The first is their role in forming Vulcan as the Primarch of the Salamander. So Vulcan's village was always beset by Dark Eldar, and Vulcan wanted to be a blacksmith. He didn't want to be a warrior, and refused to be a warrior. Just kept working with his dad, building stuff. And then Dark Eldar show up one day, and Vulcan goes berserk, and that like just started him uniting. I don't remember the planet's name. Salamander's home planet. Nocturne.
Yeah,
Nocturne's tribes to fight off the Dark Eldar, and eventually they do, which is just a really cool thing. Just like, because that doesn't really happen a lot with Primarchs, where it's like, I just want to be a smith.
Well, I mean, he's the Easter Bunny of the Primarchs.
Yeah.
He keeps building treats and hiding them away.
I'll be a Smitty.
And then the other one
build a ladder.
is the Dark Eldar's relationship with the Emperor's Children Legion is really weird.
They touch on this in this codex. Lilith Hesperax is obsessed with Lucius the Eternal.
Like, in a sexual way?
I don't know, it's a Dark Eldar, so yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to cut him up, so yeah.
Yeah, so like, Lucius got on purpose captured by the Dark Eldar so he could get better at fighting, and kept being killed and reborn in whoever killed him flesh, and the Dark Eldar were like, we're done with this. After like 100 years, they're like, we're done, just leave.
Well, like, Fabius Bile shows up in this codex. Like,
Yep.
he learns from the homunculus, and Lucius is there with him, and like, there's just this little thing that like the witch cults were like, he's so dreamy. I just like that idea. Like, I've said it before on the podcast, they're getting that little bit of humor back into the world. Like, it's not, you know what, in the far future of the grim 41st millennium, there's not only war. There's jokes.
There's really, really dark humor.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's sort of the state of the fluff.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. Like you said, I think you're right. They did a good job of framing them as not Dark Eldar.
Yeah,
right?
they're
as opposed to Light Eldar.
right. They're their whole thing.
They're their own. They got their own motivations. They've got their own. I mean, they're not good.
I mean, they're good for Dark Eldar.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all subjective.
Yeah.
So this has to be probably the codex that breaks the mold compared to any other codex that comes before it in terms of rules.
Man, this suite of releases, like this, the Tau, the Necrons, they are really friggin' around with what a codex is.
Yes.
I love it.
Dark Eldar have always made use of poison weapons. They haven't changed. But I don't know if poison 4-up is as good as it used to be. Because the problem is like you're still wounding toughness 3 on 4s. You're still wounding toughness 5 on 4s. 4 on 4s. I guess if you get up, but there's not a lot of infantry that really pushes toughness 8.
Mm-mm.
Or toughness 6.
It used to be that 2 toughness higher, so it would have been toughness 5 for these guys, you would wound on 6s.
Yeah.
Previous, and so wounding them on 4s is amazing.
Yeah.
But you already wound toughness 5 on 5 still if you're strength 3.
Right.
So yeah, it's exponentially it's not as good.
It's not as good as it used
diminishing
to be.
returns on this one. Yeah.
Still good.
Honestly.
Still great for, but again, against Horde armies, I think it'll suffer, especially things like Termagants and Guard. But they do get the power from pain, because they're a bunch of sadists.
Yeah, so this goes along with the something they had in previous editions as well, so they're kind of keeping this theme with them. We have, and so this goes along with, they kind of escalate as the battle goes on, as the battle rages, as the limits of their pain tolerance are pushed to the max. They kind of get increasing benefits, and so this is really cool. So
well, I mean, we don't know that the rule is named after their pain. It's just anybody's.
That totally. And so on the first turn, they start off with a 6+ feel no pain, just army wide, which is really cool. On turn number 2, they can reroll charge and advance, which is awesome. On turn number 3, they get +1 to hit in the fight phase. Turn number 4, they auto pass morale.
That's so good.
It's real good.
And turn number 5 is -1 leadership to the enemy that is within 6 inches.
And they're all cumulative.
Yes.
Which is super important. And there are ways, as we'll find out later on in the codex, to boost this number.
Yeah.
As it goes on, which is awesome. I'm jealous, honestly, of their combat drugs, because as we talked about, that was Fabius's thing that he brought to the Emperor's Children. We lost it. Was the use of combat drugs, which is awesome.
You'll get it back, you big baby.
I know. We do have it. We have the intoxicating elixir now. But yeah, so you can, again, this is one of those things where you can either roll or pick.
Mm-hmm.
So units with this ability gain a bonus during the battle, and you roll on the table to see what you get for each unit that has this rule. I think it's mainly witch cults. Alternatively, you can pick the bonus the unit receives, but if you do this, you cannot choose a bonus that has already been taken by another unit until all 6 combat drugs have been taken once. And we're talking +1 attack, +1 strength, +2 to move. Super good.
So good.
When you're already moving 8, now you're moving 10. +1 to your toughness. Really good when you're toughness 3. And
honestly, toughness 3 got better with the new moon chart.
It did,
so,
yes.
like,
+1 to weapon skill, and +2 to leadership. All pretty solid choices. I don't know what I'd do with those.
Yeah, you're not feeling bad when you have to take 4 unique ones if you're picking.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, like you're like, okay, +2 move, then +1 attack, then +1 toughness, +1 strength. I mean, that's a lot of units already right there. So you don't care about doubling up at that point.
Mm-hmm. And that's on your witch cults, right?
And Reavers, the jet bikes, get it?
They're witch cult, yeah.
They are witch cults.
They are witch cult,
the Reavers?
yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, we'll get into those when we talk about units. So then, the cool rule that witches also have is no escape, and this is what I want fallback to be. Like it should be like your movement characteristic plus a roll off, and whoever wins, like decide. You know what I mean?
Decides the outcome. Yeah.
Decides the outcome. Yeah. But this is weird because it's just a straight roll off. So
so
if you
weird,
try to
yeah.
fall back from a witch unit or a witch cult, it might not be jet bikes, but whatever.
It's common to a lot of units.
Yeah.
This no escape rule. It's not an army-wide thing, but I figured I'd throw it in the special rules section because I noticed it a whole bunch.
It's super cool. So if you try, if Adam's playing Dark Eldar and I've got a unit in combat with them and I attempt to fall back, we both roll off. I can only fall back if I beat Adam's roll. Straight up roll.
Yeah.
Which I guess you could then command point if you really wanted to.
Likewise, I could as well.
That'd be hilarious.
It would be.
But what's the order of that?
You do yours, I do mine.
It's the player's turn. Player whose turn it is gets to choose.
But
we looked it up.
If I roll, if Adam rolls a 1 and I roll or Adam rolls a 2 or I roll a 1, then I decide to command point my 2, and now I roll a 4. Can Adam decide to use a command point to re-roll his?
Provided that he didn't re-roll a dice that face.
You would have to.
You
You
see
would
what
have
I
to
mean?
declare it right when you roll the dice. So you see the outcome, and then
Yeah.
you have to declare your.
At the same time?
What do you mean?
I
like-
don't understand the issue.
So, Adam's got a unit in combat with me. He's Dark Eldar.
Right.
I'm trying to fall back. We roll off. I roll a 1. He rolls a 2.
Okay, so you've seen the results.
Yeah.
And you decide to re-roll.
And now I decide to re-roll the 1 that I got, and I
Yeah.
roll a 5. Can Adam now decide to re-roll the 2 that he got to a 6?
Yes.
Without seeing yours, though.
No, you'd be able to.
Without seeing yours, I would say it has to be
Nope.
because if another dice roll is happening after I've rolled a dice, then like that
It's-
roll's in my mind that roll's like gone. You know, like it's passed. We're on to something else now. We're on to the next roll. So it would be like you
Nope.
declare you do the stratagem, and then I would have to say, okay, I'm also going to use a reroll
That's how it works.
without seeing the outcome
At
of
the
the
same
new
time.
reroll yet. Yes,
At the same time.
yes.
No.
No. What do you?
No,
think?
because it's not. It's not saying do the rule again. It's re-roll a dice, so you see the outcome. Because it goes back into a flux, like state. No, it.
I have a flux capacitor on my dice.
No, frig off. It's you go back to a potential outcome, and then you get to choose again.
I would say maybe
You're not You're not just choosing.
If you think about it a little more, I almost think it should be like the stack in Magic. So it's whoever was the.
No, that's crazy. You're re-rolling results, and it's not a result until all the rolls are done. So you roll your 2 dice.
Yeah.
You get to re-roll. Then, if he wants, he can re-roll because you got the exact same chance.
But who does it first?
Whoever wants.
Interesting. Okay.
Like, because I can react to the re-roll.
Yeah, I guess.
This isn't hard.
Okay, but it's a cool rule. And then something else that this is what really changes the Dark Eldar one is their raiding force. So if you take 3 patrol detachments, you get 4 extra command points, which is pretty awesome. If you
I love
take
it.
6 patrol detachments or 8 patrol?
8?
That's a 6. Doesn't
Sorry.
matter.
Oh no, it is 6 because it's 3 for 4 and 6 for 8. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just double. Yeah.
Yeah, which is super cool. It's just an interesting way to do it. And because Dark Eldar have 3 kind of houses that... not houses. 3 sub-factions within their faction, and then sub-factions after that. So they have Cabals, which are the warriors and the Archons. They have the Witch Cult, which are the gladiatorial warriors, and they have the Homunculi, which are the mad scientists of the Dark Eldar. Can you stop breathing so loud? I understand that you're upset and angry, but like,
Am
you're
I breathing loud?
Yeah, you're breathing through your nose.
Oh, sorry.
You're like, it sounded like you were fuming. You're like,
Oh, that's just a bad habit. Sorry.
I believe Paul called them the Flesh Wizards earlier.
yep, the Flesh Wizards. So, like chapters for Space Marines, each of these guys have their own special thing called, I believe, obsessions. Yes, they're called obsessions. So you have Cabal obsessions, Cabal obsessions, Witch Cult obsessions, and Homunculus Coven obsessions. So why don't we all just pick a couple to talk about that we like the most?
Yep.
So I'm going to talk about the Cabal, the Black Heart. This is Vex
Yeah.
Cabal.
Durserl. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay, cool.
Hasdrubal?
Asdrubal. There it is. This guy got paid by GW a bunch. Back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, so units with this ability have the power. Units with this obsession that have the power from pain ability treat the current battle round as being one higher than it actually is for the power of pain ability.
So
That
you're
is so good.
You're starting off with 2 special rules on
You are
everything.
starting off with 2.
Army wide.
Yeah.
And good ones at that. The 6+ feel no pain and reroll charge in advance.
Yeah. And honestly, you want... I'm glad that they did that order of rerolling the charge second, because it makes this a more attractive option.
Yes.
Yeah. And because it opens up that alpha strike.
Yep.
Right? Which is really cool.
And then another cool thing is if you don't have power from pain, because I believe there's some units that don't have power from pain, but you still have the Cabal keyword, you just get the Inured to Suffering, so you just get a 6-up feel no pain.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What page is that on?
115.
Okay. Keep on going down.
So, yeah, I mean... you get so many options, so it's tough to say, like, oh, this one is like the best or that one's the best. But so I'm just going to say one that I think is neat. The Poisoned Tongue Cabal, rerolling wands to wound with all poison and melee weapons, can be very attractive. There's not a lot of things in here that get you rerolls, and so to have them built in just seems very, very attractive. So there you go, the Poisoned Tongue.
For which... Paul, you got one?
Yeah. I just like the Cabal of the Flayed Skull. So it just adds 3 to the move characteristics of anything that can fly.
That's so cool.
It's like if you want raiders or not jet bikes, but if you want like raiders or anything like that.
Bikes. They have bikes.
But those are witch.
Those are witch cult.
Right.
Yeah, and like so are the Reavers, yeah? The Green Goblin dudes.
Got it.
But this is like really good on your... Tell me I'm wrong.
Those are the Green Goblin dudes
Hellions.
are called Hellions.
Hellions, yeah.
Yep.
But this is great on your Raider spam, or your Raider rush, however you want to put it. Mm-hmm. It's just really good.
So the Witch Cult stuff one has some really neat stuff.
I mean, straight up.
Oh, also you get to reroll ones to hit with transports.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
With rapid fire weapons on units that fly.
That are also transports.
So like if they're in the transport, they still can do this. Yeah.
So like the dudes are just drive-by heroes.
Yeah. That's the cool part of this one. They also ignore cover, which you love as an Imperial Fist player.
And so much better, so much more than just...
This is what I'm saying. This is why the Space Marine Codex, I read it and I'm like, this thing sucks. Like, it is boring.
So the
Right.
Witch Cult ones?
So the first codex get made, they're going to be the first codex to get remade. You're good, man.
Yeah.
The Space Marines can feel a little bit of pain for a while.
Yeah, we can take the hit.
Yeah.
So this one's good. The Cult of the Red Grief. You are charging the same turn you advance for Witch Cults. This means your bikers move 18, advance 8, and now charge.
Yeah, your Hellions
And you also re-roll.
Yeah.
Hellions aren't as fast as bikers, though. That's a 26 plus 2d6 re-rollable charge.
Sure, but the Hellions can deep strike, so it's still nice.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like, it's just rad.
Yep.
When do you see an army of Hellions come on now, right?
Yeah, well, a friend of the podcast, Acrylic Idiot, he has a lot of Hellions because he just likes them. I'm sad that they took the Duke special character out. Remember him from, like, the 4th edition codex?
Yeah, Hellions can't deep strike.
They can't?
No.
Why not?
Put them in the
It's
webway.
not in the rules.
I'm sure that there's...
Yeah, there's a webway.
Put them in the webway.
Yeah.
There is a way.
A webway?
Where there's a web, there's a way.
So I'm actually not a big fan of the other two Witch Cult things. I really don't see anything else better on there. Plus 1 attack on the charge and plus 1 strength.
Those are good if... Plus 1 attack on the charge is really good if you have a really quick way to deliver them.
Yeah.
Which you need the Red Grief in order to take advantage of the strife. Right? Because you want that Alpha Strike, you want that...
But you don't always want the Alpha Strike. Like, what if this is your second wave in your army. What if you've got your raiders? You're not using your witches as your alpha strike. So the witches come up, and now they've got 1 attack each extra.
Maybe.
So it's just like it gives a couple of different tactics, a couple of different builds.
Oh, for sure. And then homunculi. There's you get a 4-up invulnerable save from the insensible to pain ability, which is awesome because I think most homunculi coven units have a 5-up.
Mm-hmm.
So Rax, Grotesques, and homunculi themselves. So they have a 4-up invulnerable save. Really good. Not as good with mortal wounds, but still super handy.
The one I like is the Butchers of Flesh. It's really simple. Basically, improve AP by 1.
Yeah.
Like, that's mean on your Talos. That's mean on your Kronos.
And that's, yeah.
And it doesn't work with relics.
No, that's a good stipulation to put in there.
Yeah.
So as always, we always pick our favorite units to talk about. Not necessarily rules, but just cool units. Adam, I think you've got yours there already.
Yeah, I had.
All right, I'll find another one.
I had trouble deciding. I mean, I put 5 units down just because as I was going through, I was just writing stuff down that I didn't want to forget about, and they all ended up just being so cool. But I'll just start at the top. So the Archon. I mean, this is the classic Dark Eldar hero. We all remember this one because of the Shadow Field. And I love now that they built in the Shadow Field into any Archon you take.
Because you're going to take it.
Yeah. Everybody always took it. It was a very, 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 very cool characterful thing. And this is the 2-up invulnerable save, but if you ever fail it, it goes away. So you kind of you finally plink the guy in the eye, and it's his power turns off. But it's just so good. Like 2-up invuln is so good.
It's always good when that's the first save roll you make is a 1. And you can't use a command point to roll it.
Yeah.
Yes, this cannot be rerolled for any reason. It specifically says that.
So annoying.
Yeah, but this guy is a beast. He has 5 attacks. He has 5 wounds. He gives you the reroll ones to hit, and I mean, most of the characters have, 3 maybe 4 attacks, and so for this guy to come built in with 5 attacks it's really awesome.
Yeah.
So,
My unit of choice, as I mentioned them earlier, is the Reaver jet bikes. So these are a witch cult guys. So these guys are advancing and charging. So 26-inch move with the advance. They've got splinter rifles, which is awesome. I think splinter rifles. What do they have?
attached to their bikes.
Each model, yeah. So so they have a splinter pistol and then have a splinter rifle. If you take a squad of 3, I think it's minimum of 3, you can replace a splinter rifle with a heat lance or a blaster. Always take the blaster. I don't know why you take a heat lance. Strength 6, AP -5, D6 damage with the melter rule versus Strength 8, AP -4. Strength 8 is so much better than Strength 6.
What's the damage output?
D6 on each.
Depends on what you want them for.
Yeah, I think blasters are always the way to go. We'll talk about that later when we talk about our list build.
What's the range?
18 on both.
Points.
Yeah,
That's the only,
Yeah.
So they have 2 special abilities that make them super cool. So if you can upgrade 1 model per 3 to take either a Grav Talon or Cluster Caltrops. You know what Caltrops are?
area denial, tricky things.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They're just spikes.
Yep. I don't know what a Grav Talon is, but it sounds nasty. Anyway, so you roll a d6 for each unit that is within 1 inch. Sorry, each model that is within 1 inch of an enemy unit. On a 4+, that unit suffers a mortal wound. Not bad.
So good. It's so
Not bad, this guy says.
With each model, it's so good.
It's only 1 per 3.
Yeah, right. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the flexibility with the movement on these things. I mean, they're 18-inch movement.
Yeah.
Plus your advance, plus your charge. Like, you have the maneuverability to put this model wherever you want him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's per model that has the caltrop.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not number of
the Grav
enemy.
Talon.
Yeah, sorry. It's not enemy models within 1 inch.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
It's not as good. It's just a mortal wound on a 4-up if he makes it into combat.
Pretty good, though.
Yep. Not bad. Pretty mortal wound.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I read it. Yeah, you're right.
And then the opposite one is roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 1 inch of a model that falls back. Cluster caltrops on a 4+. That unit suffers a mortal wound. Pretty funny. Pairs well with some stratagems that we'll talk about later. But these guys are... They're good. Toughness 4, 2 wounds, 4 up save, and they're fast.
Really fast.
Really fast.
Wow.
And they have
18
fly.
inches.
They should be.
They have biker and they can fly.
But they have biker that is auto advance at 8 instead of 6.
Yep.
They're fast.
They're supposed to be. They're also like, 4 up invuln and only 2 wounds, so
They don't have 4 up invuln.
4 up save. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They're squishy.
yeah. Like this is why God gave us autocannons.
So this is a Ransack the Universe Hemisphere IPA from Collective Arts, because I've got 2 Collective Arts for this evening. These are fantastic. This is a 6.8% beer.
Man, we should talk to Collective Arts about hooking us up, because we've been drinking a lot of Collective Arts all up in here.
It's good. It's strong.
Hamilton.
I like Hamilton. Say nice things about Hamilton.
Where's Hamilton?
It's out yonder
Golden Horseshoe, something.
by the escarpment.
What do you like?
I like the mandrakes. They're not particularly flashy. There's not a lot going on. They move 8 inches, which is nice, so they're fast. But everything in this is pretty quick.
Yeah.
They get a 7-up save, but they come standard with a 5-up invuln, and also you subtract 1 from your hits.
Nice.
So that's in all hits. So it's in combat and shooting. And they come from out of the shadows. So during deployment, you can decide to put them in the realm of Elendratch, which is their home plane in Cremora.
Sure.
And standard 9 inches away. They also come with Bale Blast. That's their shooting attack. 18 inches, assault 2, strength 4, AP -1, and on a 6 to wound, it gives a mortal wound, an additional mortal wound. And they have Glimmer Blades, which are strength user and AP -1. So they're not crazy powerful, but they're basically what you would want Death Marks to be in the Necron army. Like, they fire twice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And also they're -1 to hit. Like, they're really good harassing bully units.
Yeah, because they can just pop up and charge in. This is weird. I didn't notice this.
They don't have either they don't have a Cabal or Witch Cult or Homunculus special rule.
So you wouldn't be able to put them in a detachment.
No, here's the thing. You can put those in detachments and they don't cancel out the detachment's benefits.
Where does it say that?
It says in the list in the rules about what you can put in those detachments.
Okay.
So there's like a set of units that can go in either of these detachments. I think it's the Mandrakes, maybe Scourges as well.
It's kind of allow that flexibility of
Oh, yes.
we work for anybody. Like
Right.
Beasts, Incubi, Mandrakes, and Scourges can be included in a Drukhari detachment without preventing other units from gaining an obsession.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. There.
Yeah,
I missed that tiny little thing. It is kind of tucked away there down in the corner of that page.
Oh, once you look at like a unit that doesn't have it, you'll find it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love, honestly, the reason I keep picking these is because I love the models. They were some of the first Finecast models that came out.
Yes. They were.
But they are so rad. They have this like creepy kind of black metal elf aesthetic about them, and I really, really enjoy that. And it's not like anything else that's in the Eldar or Dark Eldar range.
And what are they?
Well, this is the thing. There's no explanation that's really given. Like, in the fluff, it's kind of like, oh, maybe they're like Drukhari that found a way to like hide themselves from Slaanesh, and in the bargain, like, hid themselves from their own humanity or whatever. I just think they're really rad models. I haven't ever had a chance to paint them, but they're pretty... They're stuck between editions, the model stances, because they're not quite dynamic enough for 8th edition, but they're not, like, static like 3rd. So they're too crazy for Boys Town and too much of a boy for Crazy Town. But they look metal as hell. Oh, also their pants are the skin of people that have wronged them, haven't paid them their dues.
Intense.
They look like Oni, I guess, like Japanese demons, ogres. I don't know, but anyways, they're cool as hell.
Yeah. Remind me of that movie, 7 Days.
Yeah, the rings.
Creepy.
Yeah, I really like them, and they throw fire with their hands.
See, that's nuts.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Wear skin pants and throw fire.
Get on that good shit, my dudes.
So, you know what? Let's pick another unit each that we like.
Oh, okay. I wasn't prepared for that, but sure, throw curveballs at me. I don't mind.
Yeah, well, we got to keep you on your toes with this podcast. It gets boring really quick. If we stay on script, we don't have a script.
We have a kind of script. Come on, we've done these enough times.
I love the Talos. I love the hulking monsters that the model are. Sorry. I love the fluff behind them. They're just mobile torture chambers.
Well, torture, like it's sort of implied that it used to be a person, right? And it's been like stretched out and kind of hell-razored into this thing.
Yep. So these guys are strength 6, toughness 6, 7 wounds, 5 attacks, a 5 invulnerable save, which you can pop up to a 4-up if they're in a homunculus coven with that keyword. They have power from pain, and oh man, they just have macro scalpels, which are strength 7, AP -2, 2 damage, granting a bonus attack.
Yeah, so they're just
terrifying things.
Just tearing the hide off of Terminators, basically.
Yep.
They're sort of flintsing skin and bone, or muscle off of bone. It's pretty rad. If you guys like Halloween, this is the army for you.
Yep. Love them. They're tough. They're scary. They're moving 8. Oh, yeah. I like them.
The micro scalpels are really good. You mentioned those already.
The macros.
Macro?
That's
Macro.
so gross.
Yeah.
That's so gross.
Really big scalpels.
Just like, it's like a weaponized dentist chair.
Yeah.
Oh my! Yeah, it's a sentient weaponized dentist chair.
Why do I say these things? Now it's in my head. Yeah, like it's also a really cool model. The original version of it back in 3rd edition, if you can find that. Like, take a second, take out your phone, Google how ugly that.
It was weird, eh?
It looked like a scorpion and just some bones and shit. It was bad. It looked really dumb.
So, just because I thought this was an interesting rule that I wanted to point out, because it's, I don't know if any of the other bombers quite get this good, rules-wise. You guys can help me out on this, but the Void Raven bomber, the model, it has a weird nose compared to its compadre, the Razorwing jet fighter.
It's almost like there's a bombardier in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't need to see.
No, underneath. There's a glass canopy facing down.
That's so
It's a bombardier.
cool.
Bomb's ready, buddy.
Not your buddy.
So the Void Mine is pretty interesting. It's a once a game thing, but you kind of fly over a unit, and in the movement phase, you pick one of the units that you flew over, and you roll a d6 for each vehicle or monster in the unit, or a d6 for every other model in the unit, and you just up to a maximum of 10. So you're picking on units of 10 with this, especially like, I don't know, a unit of 10 Marines or something.
That's how your bombs work in this now. Like,
But these guys do mortal wounds on a 3.
3 up.
It's only 1 use.
Still
really good.
So good.
The cool part is that if you drive over a vehicle or a monster, you're rolling 3d6 and they're taking mortal wounds.
On the 3+. Yeah.
Which is super good.
nuts.
Yeah. I included a Void Raven bomber in my list.
Like, that's just nasty. I mean, that unit of last cannons in the back just pounce this guy over top of him and drop bombs on him.
Good.
Like, that's so dirty. 3 up is really good.
Dropping them
It
bombs.
also has Dark Scythes, which are super good because they're Assault D3, Strength 8, AP -4, D3 damage.
Oh yeah, the
That's
guns.
super-
Like,
It has 2 of them. That's just awesome.
yeah, you trade in those Void Lances, totally. So you're losing a strength, but you're gaining D3 shots.
Yes.
Right? It's sweet. What else?
Yeah.
What do you think?
The one that I talked about it before, just because our friend Acrylic liked these. The Hellions. So they used to have the Baron. It was the Baron, was the Green Goblin dude. But they've got one weapon that's... So these guys are flying like hoverboards. They move 14 inches. And they're Witch Cult. But they have something that's a plasma grenade launcher. And if it hits a unit but with the plasma grenade, they subtract 1 from their leadership in addition to whatever else they do.
Oh, the Phantasm grenade.
Phantasm, sorry.
Yes.
And I just like this. It's such a good... It pairs well with a lot of other units because the Incubi, anything within 6 inches of them, when you roll leadership, if you equal your leadership, you lose a guy.
Yeah.
So, these guys are just... they're not going to win any battles, but they're sort of force multipliers. They can swoop in and assist. And I just love those quick redeploy units.
There's an interesting stratagem that pairs with this grenade launcher, and it's what I wish the Hellfire stratagem was for the Heavy Bolter, which was it's for 1 command point, you can make the unit take D3 mortal wounds.
Nice.
But it also takes the effect of the gun.
That's cool.
Whereas the Heavy Bolter one, you do it instead of.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this is also strength 1, AP 0.
Still,
So-
you're not doing it for that. You're subtracting their leadership with it.
Yeah, and they can fall back and charge in the same turn, so that's kind of rad. Again, this is all about harrying. This entire codex is about harrying your opponent, and you've got a lot of sharp, brittle things that you can stick in wherever you want. Someone overextends themselves, you cut that thing off.
Yeah. For 5 of these models, they're really cheap.
Yeah.
Three power level for these 5 guys on boards. That's pretty cheap.
And they got a 6-up invul. Wait, no, they don't. Sorry, that was Scourges. Scourges have a 6-up invul. But I don't know. I just like crazy boogie boards in the sky, and they're not wearing socks. Everyone leaned into the computer and just wait, they're not. It's the one thing that I notice about them every time. That's so weird. I guess maybe they fly it with their feet or some shit.
Sure.
I think that's definitely what they do. That's what controls. That's what Willem Dafoe uses to control his flying boogie board.
It's also what son of Willem Dafoe uses.
Frank Jameso.
Yeah, Frank Jameso. Yeah,
James Franco's evil twin.
yeah. I hate the Franco brothers. I'll fight them.
Really?
Yeah, they suck.
They're funny.
One's okay. The lesser Franco's okay.
Yeah. I'm just jealous because he has a master's degree in literature.
Who frames Danko or the other guy?
Who would be jealous of that?
That was the joke.
Okay. So yeah,
Before we move on from this, I think it'd be super cool to take 2 units of 10 of these, just the look of that, coming down on the table, from the webway, and then charging first turn would be. I don't know. It's not going to win games, but that would look really cool.
They're also Witch Cult, so they're moving 14 plus D6 advance and charging with a rerollable charge.
If you just stay on the table.
So I don't really think that you need to.
Drop from the webway,
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you go move and advance, get that 20 inches, and a 24-inch deployment, you're 4 inches away already.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, you're pretty good. You're in a good spot.
You were saying you wanted Alpha Strike stuff?
Well, they're not really Alpha Strikey. I think they're more harrying, right?
This is what I'm saying. You screw up plans with this army and then other stuff. Because this goes back to the design idea of no unit can do this alone. This thing works like a machine.
Yeah. Also, they can take the combat drugs that give them +2 to their movement.
Yeah, they can.
Woo!
So can the bikers. So you can now have bikers that are moving 20.
Honestly, I don't know what drugs you're taking that makes your bike faster, but cool.
You're pissing into the gas tank.
What are you pissing out?
No, you're just so crazy that you don't mind tweaking the speed to that next level.
Yeah, there's no regard for
Yeah.
self-preservation.
So you guys ready to move into stratagems?
Yeah.
So I'm pick 2. Do we really like?
Yep.
So the first one I'm going to pick is super awesome and really speaks to army construction. It's called the Alliance of Agony, and I love alliteration. So use this stratagem. It's 1 command point. Before the battle, if your warlord is an Archon, and this is why you always take an Archon, choose up to 1 homunculus and up to 1 succubus from your army. Generate a warlord trait for each character.
I love it.
It's so rad.
You're getting you're getting 2 warlord traits bonus for 1 command point.
It's great, especially if you're thinking about doing this patrol detachment style force, right? And taking patrols of these units that all work really well, that you need to divide them into different detachments to like gain the benefits of all the different cults, or what are they called, obsessions. It's sweet. And because if you think about it too, like these leaders, it's not like they're not a warlord. They are the warlord of their own little thing, right?
Yeah.
So they would.
Yeah, it's the Sinister Six being like assembled.
Yeah.
It's the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Like it's a superhero villain team. It's so cool. The one that I like pairs well with the Hellions very well. And you use this for a witch cult unit that can fly, and when it passes over another unit in the movement phase, you use this command point to get the strategy off. And you roll a d6 for each model in the unit, that you control, and adding 1 if the unit picked is the enemy unit is an infantry, and on a 6 it's a mortal wound. So they're just like dropping down meat hooks and stuff and flying by stuff. Unit of 10 Hellions, first turn, they're moving like we've already established. This is nuts. So imagine just like a bunch of guardsmen hanging out, and you're like just cutting them to ribbons as you fly over them.
Love it.
Yep.
It's such a good one.
Obviously, there's a webway portal out there, so if you drop 1 unit in Deep Strike, that's 1 command point. You can put 2 units in the webway for 3 command points. Classic Eldar, like basically every form of Eldar out there has this ability, and it's highly advantageous depending on the situation. So go for it. Hide in them webways, yo.
So the other stratagem that I chose, and we'll talk about why I chose this one, but it definitely has to do with the army I built, is Insidious Misdirection. So it's 2 command points, and before the start of the first battle round, but before the first turn has begun, pick up to 3 Cabal of the Poison Tongue units. This is a Cabal-specific stratagem. 3 units that are on the battlefield, immediately remove these units from the battlefield and set them up again as described in the deployment section of your mission.
They just go back to your deployment zone.
Yeah, so you can, like, if you're really gunning for that first turn, and you're not sure if you're going to get it, you put these guys right on the front line, and then if you know you're not going to go first, you just hide them out of line of sight. Or if you're worried because you finished deploying last that your opponent's going to get +1, you hide them out of line of sight, and then if you know you're going to go first now you pop them up right on the line.
Cool. So kind of like a really fancy redeploy.
Yeah. Or you can take a Ravager and be like, wait, his heavy tank is now on the other side of the board. My Ravager is now 72 inches away from where it was before.
Interesting. Yeah.
I have 2 that kind of go to... Well, they don't go together, but I just like the way... The sort of statement of intent that these prove. The first one is Pray They Don't Take You Alive. So you use this when a Drukhari unit kills a warlord in the fight phase, and for the remainder of the battle, every model in the enemy army subtracts 1 from its leadership, because they're so shell-shocked that, like, this guy is bound up in, I don't know, probably, like, man-gut ropes, and, like, just... and they're like, oh, that's so bad.
Like, that's my... Oh, no.
That's the guy that I'm inspired by. If we get a chance, we should kill him, because he doesn't want to go like that.
Yeah.
And then the other is Soul Trap, and you use this when an Archon from your army kills an enemy character in the fight phase. And, like, it's not in the fight phase, you do it before you attack. And so when the character dies, and you just add 1 to your attack, strength, and leadership for the rest of the battle.
Yeah, this is so good, and we haven't seen a stratagem like this so far, where it affects the whole rest of the game.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
I like it. I like that it's, now this guy has a thing of a dude's soul in a cube. It's like this. It's an entire army of Hellraisers.
I like so many of the ones that you guys threw out there were on my list, but Fire and Fade is one that we haven't mentioned yet. This is one command point. You can move 7 inches after shooting. The catch is you cannot charge after this.
I think Eldar have the same one.
Okay,
Yeah, so
cool.
It's definitely a cool one. I
Yeah.
think it's like their old battle focus, right, where you could move, shoot, and then run.
Still advance, or run, I love the idea of this on Scourges. Just that flying unit that can load up on heavy weapons, fly around, and just shoot heavy weapons like crazy, and then hide them behind rocks and stuff. Could be really fun. Here you go.
So, relics.
Artifacts of Cruelty.
Artifacts of Cruelty.
There are so many good metal song names in, like, this, the Necron Codex, and the Mechanicum Codex.
Yep.
Like, I'm not naming another song for my band. I'm just going to come here and be like, this is what's up, guys. We're going to play the Animus Vitae.
So speaking of that, Traitor's Embrace. That's a great metal name, eh?
Right?
So this is the Cult of the Cursed Blade Succubus only. This is my favorite, so I'm just going to read the description, because the description's metal as all hell. The Traitor's Embrace comprises a pair of metal rods that are sewn into the skin. At the moment of death, these rods cause the bearer's bones to explode outwards, rapidly growing into a jagged cage. Roll a d6 if the bearer is slain in the fight phase. On a 2-up, the unit that killed this model suffers d6 mortal wounds.
Who signs up for that implant?
Surprise!
Now you're in a cage of my bones and my gore is spread thinly throughout the entire battlefield. Enjoy this being told at our funerals.
Ugh.
The Armor of Misery is kind of cool. Minus 1 to hit on your Archon. This is Cabal of the Obsidian Rose only. But you get, it's kind of like power armor that's minus 1 to hit in the fight.
That's
phase.
pretty good.
So yeah, that does mean you're taking the Obsidian Rose Cabal. So that's the plus 6 inch range to your weapons, which you're unlikely to take, but still that's a really cool relic if you're going that direction. The one that I really fancy though is the Helm of Spite, which allows you to deny the witch. And if you do, then the caster suffers Perils of the Warp.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, there's so many fun ones to pick from. I mean, the Flensing Blade is a... So Flensing Blade is just made for taking skin off of muscle, like in real life. It's a homunculus-only Coven of the 12 relic, and it replaces the homunculus tools. And it's a poison weapon. It has an AP -2, and you add 1 to the wound rolls made for this weapon, unless it's targeting a vehicle. And when you're fighting characters, it increases its damage output to 3 instead of D3. So it's basically like, we're taking apart your leadership. Like, this army's so cruel, guys. Like, they punish mistakes so bad. And
you don't want to leave a character caught out.
Oh no, he's as good as dead. And then there's the Armor of Misery, which on the nose of it looks good, but then once you think about it, it's not fantastic. It's a Cabal of the Obsidian Rose. It's for an Archon only. You get a 3-up save, and you subtract 1 for the hits to roll against this target in the fight phase. So it's only in the fight phase, and a 3-up, not that great.
Nope.
So it's just like, who's this for? I mean, I really like the subtract 1 to hit, but...
Is that the one I just mentioned?
No?
The Misery Armor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I just talked about that one.
Oh,
You just said it was power armor. You didn't
Yeah.
mention -1 to hit.
Yeah, I did. You're
So,
reading something or chatting with somebody.
There's
Who knows?
there's another cool in the Obsidian Veil, which is a fail-safe shadow field. So it's for an Archon. The first time this model fails, it's invulnerable save, and its shadow field goes down. It immediately gives a 4-up invulnerable save for the remainder of the battle.
That's the one you take every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Like-
if you have an Archon, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Cabal of the Flayed Skull.
Ooh, so that's Flayed Skull is the plus 3 inches to flying units and ignoring cover.
Not bad.
And rerolling ones for rapid fire weapons.
So moving on to Warlord traits, this is interesting. I'm just looking through them. A lot of these are very much based around the individual, and there's very few force multipliers in these Warlord traits.
The entire army is a force multiplier,
Yeah.
So...
But I think this really speaks to like the leaders aren't really leaders. They're leaders because they beat the crap out of everybody else and will murder them.
Can I just say, there are 19 Warlord traits in this book.
Yeah, that's...
Oh boy.
We're still only gonna pick 2 each.
Okay.
I like the Witch Cult one, the Quicksilver Fighter. Just because, again, great metal song name. And you always fight first in the fight phase, even if you didn't charge.
Yeah, fighting first is great. I mean, there's so many fantastic uses for that. If you're going for the Alpha Strike and you don't succeed, you still get a chance to swing. If you get countercharged, it's fantastic.
And you want it on these characters because it's Witch Cult, so you're pretty squishy.
I'm going to double up on you on Witch Cult, and for one of mine, the Stim Addict, you get 2 combat drugs.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to also go Witch Cult. So this is Cult of Red Grief specific. You add +1 to your invulnerable saving throws. So if you put this on a Succubus, your Succubus now is a 3-up invulnerable save.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yep.
I like Ancient Evil for the Cabal, and you have to roll an additional dice for morale test within 3 inches of this dude. That's so mean.
Yeah, especially with all the leadership stuff that there is floating around this army, like all the debuffs. It could be really cool.
Yeah.
And then standard Homunculus 1, reduce all damage inflicted on your Warlord by 1. Now remember, you're always using the Army of Agony, so you're getting an Archon Warlord trait and then a specific one to the other 2 that you're using.
Also, can we talk about how cool the term Scarlet Epicurean is? It just sounds good.
Yeah.
Where's that?
That's the Covenant of the 12 specific...
Oh, yes, Scarlet Epicurean.
Right? I am going to put together a concept album entirely for the Drukhari.
So,
yeah. Soul Thirst,
Yep.
right before we move on, is dirty. It's +1 attack, and you regain a wound for every model you kill.
nice.
Yeah.
That's, +1 attack is good as it is.
And then to heal, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what every RPG video game was based off of, being able to regen your health.
You want to pour that, Paul?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got a Waterloo Dark here, because...
Pour the boar.
pour the boar, as they say. Waterloo Dark, it's nice. It's really good on tap. It's one of the dark beers that I quite enjoy.
Thank you, sir.
You want to hand me your glass there, Adam Truax?
Thank you, kind sir.
You're kindly
Oh,
welcome.
I like
Kaz.
that.
Yeah, it's not overly dark. It's just got the right balance. It's a little bitter. It's all right.
So, we made lists. No, we didn't. I made a list 10 minutes before we started recording this podcast, and I'm pretty happy with it, actually. Now that we've actually gone through the podcast, the codex, I'm like, I made some good choices here.
So you didn't? You can't make good choices if you don't know what they are.
Well, you can listen to my army list and tell me what you think.
So this is a new segment we want to add every time we do a faction focus and do a new codex. We really want to kind of comb through this. And to be fair, we want to get better at this as we go along, and just kind of highlighting for you guys some of the cool combos that you can find in these codexes. And
I'm gonna jump in here and say this is a new segment that we are adding, and it's something that we're already really good at.
Yeah, sure.
It's a joke.
Oh, well.
I'm sorry.
As we
we're not-
self-profess to have made this 10 minutes before, and the fact that Nick Rowan and we did it.
We're not.
I don't think we need to discuss 3 different lists.
Yeah. So we're not building the most powerful list we possibly can. We're trying to pick units that are cool, find the cool stratagem, warlord trait synergies, and try to just really find a list that exemplifies what the codex is. So I tried to do that with this list. So I took 3 patrol detachments, 1 cabal, 1 homunculus, and 1 witch.
So that's getting you a total of 7.
7 command points. So I went with the Cabal of the Poison Tongue to use that stratagem that we talked about with removing 3 from the battlefield and redeploying them before the game. and also rerolling poison weapons. So I took an Archon, pretty simple, Husk Blade and Blast Pistol. He goes in a Raider with 9 Cabalite Warriors and 1 Cabalite Warrior with a Blaster. Blasters are handheld melta-guns. There's also 2 other squads of 10 Cabalite Warriors in Raiders. All the Raiders have splinter racks, by the way, and when you fire a splinter weapon from inside a Raider with a splinter rack, hit rolls of 6 count as 2 hits.
Super cool.
Yeah. So that's that. They also have a Blaster, so it's a Dark Lance and a Blaster in each squad of 10, so these guys have a lot of firepower, and also the Raiders have Dark Lances.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Like,
also in this patrol detachment is 2 Ravagers armed with 3 Dark Lances each.
That's the way to go.
so
Yeah.
to hell with your tanks.
I
sir.
do like Disintegrators, though. Disintegrators are solid. They're like Strength 5, AP -3, 2 damage, like 4 shots each, which is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering the buff to Strength 5.
Yeah. So for my Witch detachment, I went with the... oh, crap, I forget. Red Grief. Advance and charge and reroll charges. So I went with the Succubus. So she's got a Shardnet Impaler, which is... have you ever... You know the old Roman gladiators used to take on roles from fables, and there was always the fisherman who had the
Trident.
the trident and the net, and that's what the Shardnet and the Impaler are. It's exactly that. It's taken from Roman gladiator style, so it's a net. It's a really cool model if you ever look at the Witch kit. So, and it does 2 damage. It's -1 AP, strength user, 2 damage, and there's not a lot of 2 damage melee weapons available for succubuses, so I went with that. Gave her the Traitor's Embrace, and definitely take that Warlord trait that we talked about to give her a 3-up invulnerable save. So she's going to be tying up units that she gets in with. She's going to be in a Raider with 8 Witches and a Hecatrix with a same thing, Shardnet Impaler, just really get that in. And then there's also 2 Venoms full of 5 Witches each. So this is all, I like the pirate, just like everyone's mounted. There's nobody out in the open. These are all just in-your-face skimmers. And then also part of that detachment is a Void Raven Bomber with 2 Void Lances and Void Raven missiles. And
So I guess the idea is if you get turn 1, you fly up and charge in the next turn, or fly up, your paper-thin vehicles get destroyed, and then you advance in and charge after that.
Exactly.
Or if you don't get turn 1, and you're hiding in your vehicles, they get destroyed, but you still get to move really far, still advance, and maybe charge if they came at you even a little bit.
One thing I would change this list is I would think about dropping the Venoms and 2 squads of Witches and just fitting in as many Reaver jet bikes as I possibly could. Because I really like those guys after reading the Codex.
See, I would go with the boogie board dudes.
That's fair. I like the Reavers. I love the models.
Yeah,
I really do like the Reaver
that
models.
dome like mask.
Yeah, like the black mask. I've seen it done so well.
Put some gloss varnish on it.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Shiny.
And then the last patrol detachment is a homunculus detachment of the Coven of 12, which I believe gives you something. I can't remember.
The Cabal ones?
No.
Oh, the homunculus ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I didn't write them down because I think I missed them.
It's down. You missed it. So I picked the Coven of 12. Keep going. Keep going down.
115.
Yeah. One more. 2 more.
3 more.
1 more. So these guys increase the armor penetration characteristics of all melee weapons.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's great.
So I went with a homunculus who has an electro-corrosive whip, which just sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's strength user, AP -2, 2 damage, always wounding on 4-ups, and with this obsession, it now has an AP of -3.
It's like, I just feel like, your list, and 2, the Codex at large, it's a 3-wave attack every time. The Raiders come in, that's your first strike.
And the Witches.
The Witches, and you're like, oh god, what's next? And then like,
The homunculi show up.
yeah, all the body parts you just cut off are back there, stitched together, walking towards you. This is a horrible fate.
So here's something that I love. We didn't talk about racks, but racks are kind of like mini homunculi that like follow the big homunculus around. So I took a squad of 5 of these and put them in a venom. They're pretty straightforward. They got a toughness of 4. They're not bad. I mean, they're always wounding on 4s in combat, and they have -1 with the obsession, which is pretty cool. And they have the ossifactor. The ossifactor is kind of like a weird sniper rifle. Actually, it's an awesome sniper rifle, except it only wounds on... it's only got a 24-inch range, so it always wounds on a 2, unless it's targeting a vehicle. If a model is slain by this weapon, the model's unit immediately suffers a mortal wound on a d6 roll of a 4-up.
So they just blow up into shards of bone?
Yes.
Oh, God. That's horrifying.
So they're in a venom, and then I also picked grotesques. And grotesques are big, hulking monstrosities that are sewn... They're Frankensteins. They're definitely Frankensteins. They're strength 5, toughness 5, 4 wounds, 4 attacks. They're terrifying.
Now, Nick, I think you mean they're Frankenstein's monsters.
You're right. They are Frankenstein's monsters. That's whatever you said. So these guys have a 5 invulnerable save. And they have monstrous cleavers, which are strength users, so strength 5, AP -2 with the obsession, and you can make 1 additional attack. They're really, really good. They're just solid bully units.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like that's what the Homunculus Coven kind of does in this this codex. It's the stuff that comes in and pounds after you've already eliminated surgically. These guys just can come in and put on some real crunch.
Yeah. So the idea for this army is what basically Paul talked about. You can choose to keep the depending on the army you're facing, the Cabal patrol back. You've got 2 Ravagers there, so they're just pounding tanks. Anything that pops its head out, they'll get. 30 Warriors is going to put out a ton of shots. You're rerolling 1s to wound. So you're wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s. You can put them in the enemy's face so they can get in rapid fire, or you can keep them back or go out for objectives if you're doing Maelstrom. And with Dark Eldar, every single time that you are drawing a Maelstrom objective, if your opponent's not on it, you're going to be on it.
Yeah, it's your board control if you're playing this army right, and this functions so well as an operating system. You're blowing up your tanks, you're getting in there. By the time that the witches show up, most of the transports are gone. By the time that the witches are dealt with, and they will be dealt with.
Oh yeah,
you're get used to pulling stuff off because they are squishy. You roll in with a hammer, so it's...
I find the witches as bully units, too. You should be picking apart things like Terminators, Aggressors, anything that has, good abilities that are heavy infantry, good close combat, heavy shooting. You should be able to pick them apart from afar. Mm-hmm. With Warriors, even Ravagers. I mean, Ravagers, that's 6 Dark Lances, plus the 5 Dark Lances that are on the Raiders into any Terminator squad. It's going to kill most of them.
Oh yeah, this the Dark Eldar have stopped being a glass cannon, and it's more like a collapsing baton, or just something that kind of presses into itself. And
we didn't talk about the dedicated transports. They all have Night Shield, so they all have a 5-up invuln save, and Venoms have a -1 to hit.
Yeah, so they're good,
they're really
my
good.
dudes.
Mm-hmm. That's my list.
I kind of see the strategy with this list is almost like the Cabal, stays kind of at that mid range and gets some rapid fire and just stays on the outskirts. And if the enemy takes the bait and comes in close on them, the witches are countercharging in.
Yeah.
And
well, this is the thing. You got multiple ways to play the different parts of your army.
Yeah, you put those Cabal just in the halfway line, just tempting enough, right, for the enemy to be like, okay, I'll take my combat unit and I'll charge one of those things.
Dude.
And then you're like, yes! You want that to happen.
Or have your line 1 and 2 happen at the same time, and all of a sudden you're destroying an entire flank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if they don't take the bait and they hold back, then you'd press in further, right?
Yeah.
You just have both those units hitting at the same time.
And with the stuff that you're killing, it means it'll generally mean, like, losses will mean more to your opponent than they do to you. Because you've got, like, 6 points for a warrior, and it's 15 or 16 for a Space Marine.
And a Ravager is 140 points all decked out, which is insane, because a Predator's not that cheap.
Trollolololo. Anyways, that's the Dark Eldar, I think.
It was fun.
I want to fight him.
Yeah.
I'm on my new mission for the end of 2018 is to play one game against every single faction out there.
Okay.
I want to do it.
All right.
I'm tired of playing Marines.
Can you guys remember your first encounter with the Dark Eldar?
Dave.
Okay.
Dave Scritch.
Mine was
podcast.
Mine was at a tournament like way back when, and I was just bad. They just ran circles around me. It was this orc army, but like 10 years ago when I first 13 years ago.
Oh, did you just realize how old you were?
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to my world
13
every day.
13 years ago, and like I was at a tournament in Ottawa with them, and yeah, I just got wrecked. Like the Ravagers just blew up battle wagons, and then Cowlight Warriors just mowed down the boys inside. I'm like, I can't do anything. I didn't get past the halfway point, and I think I got tabled by turn 3. It was awful.
So mine was back in 3rd edition, which was probably when you were playing against them, and they were kind of like that army, almost like Sisters of Battle, where like nobody really knew what they did, and the scourges were just so dirty. Because back then it was purely a dice game. It was like whoever can throw the most dice, and those things were running around with 4 dice each was the most shots you could get on any gun in the game.
Yeah, shred carbines. Yeah,
yeah, and they were nasty because they were flying around. I just remember just watching this unit like fly on top of buildings. Like they were just so mobile, but they had these heavy weapons, and I was just like, "What is going on here?" And,
Yeah, you catch them out in the open though; they're paced.
I mean, but you couldn't catch them.
I'm sure you could. Last cannons, heavy bolters. Heavy bolters are pretty quick.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's the Dark Eldar. Stick around for fun time.
What time is it?
It's fun time. All right, we're coming at you, mega hype beast. Do you know what's coming up? It's the Hogtowner. What's the Hogtowner?
Dude,
why do you not know, dude? Guys, the Hogtowner's coming up. The Hogtowner is our 40-person, maybe more, event that it's going off this summer, and we're more than half full.
yeah.
We're
So
75%.
no,
Math. We shouldn't do math.
we're not
Isn't that the rule?
5%.
No.
No. 2/3, maybe.
This is why we don't math on the podcast. Oh shit!
All right, so
That one's for you, James.
this is a 40-person, probably 50, tournament. Not tournament. No, bleep that out. It's not a tournament. It's an event.
It's an event. It's a hobby event.
July 28th and 29th. It's downtown at basically Dundas and Spadina. So all you guys without cars, guess what? You don't need a car to get to this place. You got your TTC pass. You got a token. Slot that in the machine. James told me a way that you can just break Presto machines by sticking your foot through them and like getting the laser on the other side of the gate and it'll open. So you know,
Don't
you
do that.
don't
do that.
You don't
Just pay
even
your $3.
need to pay. It's $3.25. You don't even need to pay to get to this event.
Free guns. Free guns.
It's $17.50. The point is to make an event that's appealing to every single level. It's going to be a gaming event. There's going to be vendors. We've lined up over $1,200 worth of prize support as of now.
And here's the thing: all that goes back to you guys.
Yeah.
We're like, it's not like we're lining our pockets with paint. We're putting that right back into the community because we care about you. We love you.
So the Sword and Board Toronto, which is where is it?
I think it's by a pizza.
Brock and Bloor.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah. They're going to be throwing some stuff our way. They're also going to be on site buying and selling used minis, which is huge and super awesome. They're going to have a great selection.
You got stuff that's not performing well? Just sell it to these guys.
Yeah. And then we've got our buddy Marco over at thewarpainter.com. He's going to be setting up a retail shop. And you know what's even better? He's going to be judging your paint jobs.
Yeah.
But like officially, not like
Both.
well, okay.
We're all judging each other's paint jobs. We're all being judged.
Watch out if you use an airbrush. Paul will judge you.
I won't judge you.
Cartoony highlights. Automatic fail.
No, not an automatic fail. They just have to look nice. You can't come at me with these hacky high contrast highlights and not have them look good.
So
all
if
right?
you go to Facebook and type in Hog
HOG
Towner,
TOWNER,
it'll show up.
you can find it. You
You couldn't find a match for Hog Towner within 30 kilometers. Well, never mind. If you go to Google, it'll show up. Look for it. It's on Best Coast Pairings, July 28th. In Toronto, it's called The Hog Towner there as well. It's got all the info. It's got the link to the player pack. And this is coming out on Friday. So everybody out there who is not a club member will be able to purchase a ticket. It's $115. And that means that you get 6 games, the opportunity to hang out with a whole bunch of cool people. It's a licensed hall. They're selling cheap Polish beer. And we got gourmet grilled cheese for you guys. And cinnamon buns for days. Just cinnamon buns.
There's another G word that goes along with gourmet to describe this grilled cheese.
Gourmet gangsta.
It's gangsta cheese. What a silly name, but I love it.
If you want to watch Paul eat 16 cinnamon buns, come down.
I don't like cinnamon buns.
And that's why you're going to eat 16 of them.
Frig.
So hope to see you out.
We'll be there live streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be walking around, probably smoking a cigar, like Hannibal from the A-Team. I'll be totally gray by then.
Just judging people.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
You're going to have fun. Just come by. All your friends are going. Dude, we filled this thing up like more than halfway with just Hogtown people.
I mean, I could do the math.
Don't do it.
I'm going to do the math.
26 divided
Just
by
under
40.
2/3. Just under 2/3.
There you go.
By like 0.8.
Paul's trying to figure out, so how much less is that?
I don't even want to. I don't math. I don't math on the podcast for a reason.
But we want to have everybody. We got people coming from BC. We got people coming that I don't even know who they are because they found it on the BCP website and just registered.
Really?
Which is awesome.
Wow.
Yep.
You know what? If they found it on the BCP website, I'm not even that mad.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll probably go drinking.
Oh, we're definitely going drinking afterwards. It's in the campus for U of T. There are so many
Einstein's?
Einsteins.
Absolutely fucking not. I'm leaving that one in there.
All right.
Have you ever been there?
No, I'm not about to start.
Come to the Hog Towner. If you want to know more, email thehogtowner@gmail.com. That's thehogtowner@gmail.com.
They think we're dumb, but we're not, right?